In what can only be described as a shocking turn of events at the 2025 Invictus Games closing ceremony, Prince Harry was left standing in an awkward silence as the audience failed to applaud his speech. This moment of public humiliation was not just a personal slight to the Duke of Sussex, but also highlighted the controversial role of Meghan Markle, whose absence from the event has sparked a flurry of speculation and criticism. Her strategic non-appearance, coupled with previous incidents of overshadowing the game's essence, has led many to question whether her influence is diluting the original spirit of Invictus. Prince Harry, who founded the Invictus Games in 2014 with the noble aim of supporting wounded, injured, and sick service members and veterans, appeared visibly shaken as he concluded his speech to a quiet, unresponsive crowd. This was a stark contrast to previous ceremonies where his presence had garnered warm, enthusiastic responses. Many attribute this cold reception to Meghan Markle's influence, suggesting that her high-profile involvement in the Games has shifted the focus from the athletes to royal drama. Reports from the event indicate that Meghan, who had been present earlier in the week, decided to return to California before the closing ceremony, leaving Harry to face the crowd alone, a move that critics argue was calculated to avoid sharing in what turned out to be a moment of public embarrassment for her husband. The narrative around Meghan's involvement with the Invictus Games has been contentious. Since her marriage to Harry, there's been a noticeable shift in how the event is perceived, from a veterans' rehabilitation platform to a stage for royal appearances. Veterans and supporters alike have voiced concerns that the Games have become too royal, with Meghan often taking center stage. Her presence at the opening ceremony, where she was seen more engaged in photo opportunities than in the athletes' achievements, has been a particular point of criticism. This year, her speeches and public interactions were described by some attendees as lacking in substance, focusing instead on her own narrative rather than the heroes of the Games. Moreover, Meghan's decision to leave early has been seen not just as a personal choice, but as a strategic retreat from the public eye at a crucial moment. With Harry left to handle the closing ceremony solo, the absence of applause can be interpreted as a direct reflection of the public's growing disenchantment with the royal couple's involvement. Sources close to the event suggest that Meghan's early departure was not due to family obligations, but rather a response to the anticipated backlash from fans and veterans who felt her presence was more about personal branding than genuine support for the cause. The tension was palpable even before the closing ceremony. During the Games, there were whispers of discontent among participants and officials about the direction Invictus was heading under the Sussexes' influence. The core ethos of Invictus, centered on the recovery and spirit of servicemen and women, seemed to be overshadowed by what some called the Meghan show. Her involvement in leading events, like the March for Veterans, was criticized for being tone-deaf, especially given her lack of military background. This year's Games in Vancouver and Whistler were supposed to celebrate the resilience of veterans, but instead, much of the media coverage was dominated by discussions about Meghan's fashion choices and her interactions with celebrities rather than the athletes' stories of triumph over adversity. The lack of applause during Harry's speech can also be seen as a broader commentary on the public's fatigue with the couple's continuous spotlight-seeking behavior. Harry, once celebrated for his commitment to veterans, now finds his legacy intertwined with public perceptions of his wife, whose actions are seen by some as detracting from the Game's purpose. This incident might serve as a wake-up call for the couple, highlighting how their personal brand, when perceived to overshadow the event's essence, can lead to public backlash. Moreover, the silence from the crowd was not just about Harry or Meghan, but reflected a broader sentiment of disappointment. The Invictus Games were created to foster a sense of community and support among those who have served, but recent years have seen a shift towards what critics call a celebrity circus. The departure of Meghan before the closing ceremony, leaving Harry to face this moment alone, underscores a significant disconnect between the Sussexes' intentions and the reality of public perception. In the aftermath of this event, questions arise about the future of the Invictus Games under the Sussexes' stewardship. Will the focus return to its founding principles, or will it continue to be a platform for the couple's image management? The silent stage exit by Prince Harry might just be the catalyst needed for a reassessment of how the Games are managed, perhaps even leading to a redefinition of roles where Meghan's influence is more in the background, allowing the true heroes of Invictus to shine. This incident, while unfortunate for Prince Harry, might serve as a critical moment for the Invictus Games to realign with its original mission. If not, the silence from the crowd at the 2025 closing ceremony could become symbolic of a broader, more permanent loss of support for what was once an unequivocally supported initiative.